Wrestling fans, guys, this Saturday is SummerSlam. You know, Monday Night Raw just got off the air. But this Saturday is SummerSlam. And I want y'all to think of something. Tonight, creative was under Triple H. Tonight, you know, everything was under Triple H and Stephanie McMahon and stuff like that. But when we look at this Saturday, okay, I want y'all to look at the card. We've all been looking at the card. We've all been looking at the build towards SummerSlam and things like that. And I want y'all to think of something and realize that this card, this SummerSlam, this pay-per-view is the very last pay-per-view under the Vincent Kennedy McMahon era. It all changes slowly but surely starting this week, and pay-per-views at all, or premium live events, whatever you want to call them, it all changes pay-per-view wise after Saturday, wrestling fans. Guys, it's all about change. Won't come just like that. It will gradually, but wrestling fans, when we look at this card and we look at what it presents, it really does show a Vince McMahon, Mr. McMahon-like presentation. And look, what Monday Night Raw showed to us tonight, a lot more bras, some hot spots, had some blood in it and things of that nature. Hey, listen, wrestling fans. Looks like they're going to be going TV 14, or the Street Profits wouldn't have been busted wide open. And a few other things that they did on Monday Night Raw. They started out with the brawl and Seth Rollins, beat up Riddle at the very end and things like that. You can tell Triple H was involved, head of creative. But let me tell you guys, SummerSlam definitely, when we look at the card up and down, is the last Vince McMahon production. Vince McMahon creative design that we will see in WWE. Wrestling fans, let's dive into it, shall we? First things first, Logan Paul taking on The Miz. Logan Paul, let me tell you, everybody has mixed emotions about this. Everybody in Nashville, Tennessee is going to have mixed emotions about Logan Paul coming in. They're trying to portray him as a babyface going up against The Miz. Listen, it might work in smaller arenas, but when you get down to these big, huge stadiums, it always flip-flops. And I can just see everybody in Nashville, Tennessee, booing Logan Paul come this Saturday. If Nashville, if the fans in Nashville are anything like WrestleMania fans, which I'm sure they're going to be, hardcore fans, listen, he will get booed and The Miz will get cheered come this Saturday. Now, do I think it's going to be a good matchup? I think The Miz is going to make Logan Paul look very good. And plus, Logan Paul does a good job himself for being one of those celebrities that comes in and wrestles when he's not actually a professional wrestler. Now, they did sign him to a deal and he'll be around. I hope it's not like every single week where they overexpose him. I hope it's for the bigger events and things like that. But nonetheless, Logan Paul will beat The Miz this Saturday at SummerSlam. Where he goes from here, what he does from here, remains to be seen, but The Miz is a good start for Logan Paul. They usually use The Miz for things like this, and he's a good, safe opponent for Logan Paul. So that's our opening. Well, it won't be our opening contest, but that's what we're starting off here on this preview. The Raw Women's Championship is on the line. Bianca Belair versus Becky Lynch. I don't think that the title's changing hands. I do not. Bianca Belair is going to retain. I really believe that. For a few different reasons. Really a few different reasons. Number one, Bianca Belair, if she's going to drop the title to Becky Lynch, I think that it would be in September. I do. I think it would be in September. I think they would save something like a title change for like the Raw Women's Championship in September in Wales. Give them something like that. Number two, we all know why Ronda Rousey is here. And I will be discussing Liv Morgan versus Ronda Rousey in a little bit. But Ronda Rousey is here to go one-on-one with Becky Lynch. Okay? And Becky Lynch, unless they're having champion versus champion at WrestleMania, Becky Lynch isn't going to be holding the belt, but Ronda Rousey is. So, I just feel like Bianca Belair is going to be victorious. They're doing a okay job. Actually, forget that. They didn't do a good job building up this match whatsoever, wrestling fans. They didn't do a good job whatsoever. As a matter of fact, they tried to play sympathy with us, with trying to play sympathy with Becky Lynch. And I don't think anybody had any sympathy at all with Becky Lynch, because all she's been doing for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks, outside of maybe a couple here and there, is lose. Okay? And honestly, I could care less. But we'll see what happens on Saturday. But I'm going with Bianca Belair with that. Pat McAfee versus Happy Corbin. Listen, it's going to be a pretty good matchup, I think. It's not going to be Theory versus Pat McAfee like what we saw at WrestleMania. It's not going to be anything like that. It's not. It's not going to be any. It's not going to be as good whatsoever. However, listen. Those two will put on a decent contest, and Pat McAfee will go over. Now, look, after this match, okay, look, Pat McAfee will show back up for a match at WrestleMania. He'll be there for a match at SummerSlam next year. But I hope they steer away from these celebrity matches some. Like, I hope we don't see one at Survivor Series. I hope they just steer away from it a little bit. Not saying I don't enjoy them every once in a while, but the build to these, the majority of the build that we've seen on TV has been focused more, the most, on the celebrity part. And that's Pat McAfee, that's Logan Paul, and that's things like, those are the special guest referee, Jeff Jarrett, things like that. Hope they steer away from that crap, at least some. But wrestling fans, we'll wait and see, but Pat McAfee will go over. Speaking of Jeff Jarrett, speaking of Double J, speaking of one of the worst picked special guest referees WWE has ever done in the history of the WWE. The Undisputed Tag Team Champions, the Usos, take on the Street Profits with Jeff Jarrett as a special guest referee. Music City Zone, Nashville, Tennessee Zone. Listen, Usos win. There hasn't been too much build with this outside of singles matches and 1 6-man tag match and Montez Ford getting busted wide open in the main event tonight and a couple of things here and there. But, I mean, it's just been a bunch of matches that has built up this match for SummerSlam, which to me is not building a big match. It does not build up the hype for a big match. It never has, it never will. Backstage segments, brawls, promos, and it doesn't have to be inside the squared circle where everybody comes down, talks, and they make a match out of it. But things like that, that builds it up too, along with the match here and there. But this tag team match, they are going to, if it wasn't a stadium that didn't have a roof on it, I would say they'd blow the stadium right off, because this is going to be one of the matches that steals the show. The Street Profits will lose. The Usos are going to walk out the champs. And Jeff Jarrett will either disqualify the Street Profits, get knocked out, and Sami Zayn will get involved somehow. Or it'll just be a clean Jeff Jarrett 1, 2, 3 Usos beating the Street Profits after they tear the house down. One of those things is going to happen. But wrestling fans, I'm going to take a little break. I'm going to take a little break, and I'm going to show you a little clip. I know a lot of you know that we have Backyard Beatdown on the channel. Really great addition, really great stuff on the channel that me and my friends do. It's great. I'm going to show you a little clip from Season 1. Season 1, Episode 3. Okay, that's the clip I'm about to show you from. So go and check out all the Backyard Beatdown content. And y'all remember to subscribe and do all that kind of great stuff. Which is subscribe, check out everything, leave me a big thumbs up, and a comment down below as well. It all helps out the channel, pushes the channel out, so it is much appreciated. But I'm going to take a little break, and when I come back, we will discuss the rest, every bit of the rest of SummerSlam. So, I'll be back right after this.
Webby is not playing around. Very heel tactics, but again, you have to think it's a last man.
Wow.
It's a last man standing match.
You know, this is a little out of character for Webby.
It very much is.
But the trash talk.
Oh!
Golly.
Dang!
Broken him in half.
I'm down to
Well, I hope you enjoyed that clip of Backyard Beatdown. Make sure you all go and check that out. listen, Liv Morgan and Ronda Rousey. Liv Morgan and Ronda Rousey. It's a shame this is going to come to an end. Whether it's at SummerSlam remains to be seen. But it is going to be short-lived for Liv Morgan. She's on a roll. She is on a very high streak right now. Liv Morgan is. Everybody's excited for Liv Morgan. I'm excited for Liv Morgan right now. You know, everybody that's been backing her for all these years is excited for Liv Morgan right now because she is the Smackdown Women's Champion. But it's a shame that, you know, come WrestleMania, we're going to see Becky Lynch and Ronda Rousey, and we're going to have to see the title on one of those two. It just is. You know, a match like that, Ronda versus Becky Lynch, doesn't necessarily have to have a title involved in my eyes. It doesn't. It doesn't. We've seen a title match with her and with Ronda and Charlotte involved. We've seen a title match with Becky, Charlotte, and Ronda involved. We don't need a title match with Becky and Ronda. We don't. These two would knock their socks off and tear the house down and make a really good contest. So, look, it'd be great if Liv Morgan's reign would continue on longer than what it's going to, but Liv Morgan's reign as SmackDown Women's Champion will probably come to an end. Not at SummerSlam, but either at Clash of the Castle or soon thereafter. We'll have to wait and see how Triple H's creative happens, because, you know, I was expecting Clash at the Castle for that title reign to come to an end, but we'll have to wait and see what happens with that. Bobby Lashley versus Theory, U.S. title on the line. Bobby Lashley goes over very, very quickly. Theory continues to job out like Barry Horowitz. Best way I can explain it. Theory will continue to job out because he has a Money in the Bank waiting for him, and WWE thinks that he can lose all the time because that protects him. Riddle versus Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins can afford a loss. He can afford to lose this contest. Seth Rollins is on a roller coaster. He is on a major high. He is doing an awesome job. Seth Rollins is, quite frankly, Seth Rollins is having, outside of losing, he's having an awesome year. How he helped Cody Rhodes in those 3 matches. Even though Cody Rhodes is in a much better position now, a much better character now, he helped him a lot with those 3 matches. And then, you know, his one victory at the Royal Rumble, he did okay there. So Seth Rollins is doing pretty well for himself. Riddle needs this victory. Enough of playing the so-called sympathy storyline, sympathy build in WWE with Riddle. Enough of that crap. Let's get Riddle some victories. And, you know, really outside of that, we got Judgment Day that will probably beat the Mysterios, or Judgment Day will come close to beating the Mysterios, and then Edge will make his appearance. I hope that does not happen, because we haven't really seen Edge at all, except these things that is a sign that he's coming back. And quite frankly, Judgment Day is not built up enough for you to come back. They're not. You haven't built them enough yet. Quite frankly, I'd like to see Dominic Mysterio, since how they're building this up the way they are, turn on Rhea. Just do that. Add another member. I mean, Rhea Ripley's coming back for SummerSlam. She was in the headline that they showed tonight on Raw. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. And outside of that, you got the main event. The main event, which is Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar, hopefully for the final time. And I mean that wholeheartedly, and I'm sure you all do who agree with me. The only thing that's holding this together that's keeping me interested is the one thing that some people say is devaluing the match, and that is Theory teasing whether he's going to cash in or not. Look, I could care less about this match. Quite frankly, I don't even know who's going to win. Probably Roman Reigns, and we'll probably get a tease cash in where Theory's going to cash in and Dolph Ziggler cost him from cashing in. That's what I see happening, quite frankly. And then at Clash at the Castle, we see the actual cash in where he cashes in on Roman Reigns or he cashes in on Drew McIntyre. One of the two. One of those two things is going to happen. Okay? Because he's been saying that too long that he has. He's going to cash in on Roman and on Brock for it to actually happen. If it happens, hey, I'm all for it. I'll be happy. I'll be jumping up and down and all that stuff like some of the fans will be at Nissan Stadium when it happens. Because me and my brother and some of my friends are going down there, so I'll be excited when it happens. Because quite frankly, Roman Reigns is holding that belt hostage. But we'll have to wait and see what happens. But y'all let me know what you're thinking in the comments below about SummerSlam. Hit that bell, subscribe to the channel, and of course, until I see you again, this is Webby, and I'll catch you on the other side. Talk to you later.